Hi, Kevin, Natalie. I'm Diane Rowden, Hernando County Commissioner, and we're sitting out here today at Wildbuckwhiskey Ranch, and here we are, Wildbuck Whiskey.
Yes, and we make a Wildbuck whiskey, which is a 100% rye, 100 proof.
What's really great about this is it's such a natural ingredient. So maybe you can explain how you actually produce this great quality of whiskey. Kevin, we're in your work area now, and I've seen quite a few different ways that you produce this whiskey. So what I'd like you to do is maybe explain a little bit of the process. And
okay, most everything we've made ourselves in here, including this is our grinder for our rye. I could do probably about 150 pounds of grinding an hour with this. We just pour it into the hopper here and comes out into a 5-gallon bucket. That goes into 100-gallon
it goes into these 100-gallon tanks over here. Is that what this goes into?
And that we get up to temperature of, I get it up to 190 degrees. And during that process, there's certain times of rest. It'll rest at 135 degrees for an hour. It goes up to 195, rest for an hour. Bring the temperature down with these coils. Run cold water through the ice machine. That's called crash cooling. And that'll cool it down to a temperature where I can ferment it. That means I strike it with the yeast. Each one of them will set for about 48 hours to 72 hours fermenting.
So we have
So you have
four 100-gallon stainless steel drums going at one time.
okay, and we're walking over here, and watch our steps here as we see where the whiskey actually comes out before you put it into the still, right? So
That's
maybe
correct.
you can explain what the process is happening.
Sure. Now each one of these mash tuns, this is called a stripping still, where we'll cook it off and we're drawing the alcohol out of it. It's called a beer stripping. And what you're basically ending up with is beer, just not carbonated, and there's no hops involved. So out of each drum, we get approximately 15 gallons of low wines, which is basically a beer, which is probably 35% ABV. So out of 4 barrels, then we'll end up with about 60 gallons, which goes into the copper.
So, and then this goes into, we have actually a copper still over here, and this is very unique looking, and maybe you can talk a little bit about your still and where you got it.
Sure. It's came from Portugal. It's specially made. It's a hand-hammered copper still, so holds approximately 80 gallons of product. It takes about 20 hours of running to get the alcohol out. We end up with about 20 gallons of alcohol from that process.
And then once this processes, that's when you put it in the barrel?
Well, the 20 gallons we get out of there is usually about 150 proof. So we'll put it in another stainless barrel and we'll proof it, which means we're adding reverse osmosis water to it to get it down to 100 proof, and then it gets barreled.
It's really great, and again, all your natural ingredients.
And I'd just also like to add that we've been so delighted with Hernando County, and especially with your efforts. We have to thank you so much, Diane. We would have never gotten this far with our permitting process and the zoning issues and getting the distillery going without your assistance, so we're very grateful.
Well, that's great, because sometimes we get beat up, like for, with permitting process, but I really do believe that we've improved, and you're a good example of that. And I thank you very much, and again, we look forward to you being in Hernando County right here in Weeki Wachee, making some of this nice Wildbuck whiskey here that we ought to try a little sip.
Absolutely.
So
we have to have you try it.
we have to have a toast here, so
Absolutely. This will be heaven.
yeah. Okay.
Cheers, Diane.
Cheers.
Thank
and
you so much
good
for
luck.
coming out.
Okay, thank you.